our goal is to actually talk about this distance metric learning, in which instead of learning discriminative features, now objective is going to be slightly different than learning the best possible discriminative feature. It's going to learn the best possible features by which you can differentiate given two images. You have to find out that how can I see two images so that I can differentiate between any pair of two images. Now this is a completely different. Previously you have a class and an image corresponding to that. You will have to see that whether this image is belonging to this class or whatever the number of classes that you have. Now you started to see that I am having two images, and given two images, can I figure out that whether they are same or different? So I have to see them in the different ways. I should not be looking to the fine details, but just have to find out that how much difference is there, what are the places where they are different. And that we started to understand that this is a very interesting and important problem for any type of recognition task. And we need to learn a metric which is going to be a distance, which is going to say that I want to find out a distance between any two given set of points or set of given two elements. And this distance can be dissimilarity measure or a similarity measure. If it's a dissimilarity measure, then if I give you f x comma x, and if it is dissimilarity, then the value becomes equal to 0, and if it's a similarity, then the value should have to be f of x comma x has to be as high as possible, maybe normalized between 0 and 1. Then the non-negativity, identity, symmetric, and in the triangle inequality. These are the four things any metric should have to have. We need to learn such a metric. Previously in traditional machine learning approaches, they have used edges, surf, and so many different types of handcrafted features to come up with a way by which we can differentiate or find out the similarity between two things. And you can learn similarity as well, that given two set of features, you want to find out that what is the L1 or the L2 distance between them, and you want to find out these features, these given set of features in such a way so that if they are coming from the same class or same type of images, if they are, then this value should have to be as less as possible, or if they are different, and then the value should have to be as high as possible. This is our problem statement, that if I give you an image like this and an image like this of the same person or the very similar images, then the value should have to be as low as possible. And if I give you image like this and this, the value should have to be as high as possible. So for that, what we understand is that we are going to use a network. This network is anyway, somebody can say that this is going to be a decoder type of network. Yes, it's going to be encoder type of network, in which it can take an image. This image can go in. You are going to get a set of features, and you have the same network and show the second image, and you are going to get another set of features. So these are the two set of features. Both of these networks are actually if I say that the weights are actually being shared. So if I say that, what does it mean? It means that both of them are actually the same network, exactly same network. You take this image, get the forward pass, you take the image, get the forward pass, just being shown as another leg, but you are essentially passing here as well as here. You are getting feature number 1 and feature number 2 and find out the distance between them. That's actually the Siamese. The meaning of actually Siamese is actually twins. So that's why it's a twin network with the shared weights, identical networks. So there is a way in which it's being done. Previously, it was that I1 and I2 being said like this. You have got two features. Both of these features got concatenated, and then you reduce its size, come on to a class, and then say that's a binary cross entropy loss you apply, and generate these two pairs in such a way so that whenever they are same, and the value should have to be belonging to a particular class, otherwise the value can belong to another class. Fine. So if we specifically say, then we are going to have huge amount of pairs that over which we wanted to learn a similarity function, and output has to be that if they are coming from the same, then value should have to be equal to 0 or 1 if they are different. When this is going to be a binary label, so you can give that yes, they are same and they are different. This is a strict classification or the strict metric, which essentially say that if they are same, I will give you 1, otherwise I'm going to 0, otherwise I'm going to give you 1. Or it can be a score between 0 and 1, normalized between 0 and 1. So that's the thing. And if it's actually a distance, d, the distance that you are going to learn, if its value is more than t or less than t, is going to tell you that whether they belong to the same class or the different class. You all can understand that training such a network is going to be very, very complex and a difficult network to be trained. Why? Let us ask someone that why do we require such a network? It's going to be difficult. Yes, sir. So let us see. How many of them are? Ujwal Shivhare, please tell me. Ujwal. Ujwal, can you hear? Tanya Tiwari, can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Please tell me.
Sir, because let's say if we have two images, suppose if one image is of cat and one image is of dog, but
Yes.
they are having such features which are very similar.
Hmm.
That is, if we have to do hard training in that case.
Understood. Anvay, you are done, Tanya. That is correct. Anvay,
Yes, sir.
can you tell me that why to train such a network is complex or difficult to train such a network 0 and 1?
Sir, because for a network to be able to identify difference between two images and identify if they are in different classes, it needs to be able to identify the class of an image and also different classes it should know.
My point is that whether this network is difficult to train or this network is difficult to train.
Sir, the binary one is more difficult because the network will give us a real number, and then deciding where to put a threshold to take it as 1 or 0 is difficult.
But that can also be learned. It's not a big deal. In fact, you can train a network as a binary cross entropy for this. Here you
Yes,
can
sir.
train the binary cross entropy as a loss. So network can be trained. What is the problem? There is a very specific problem. What does it mean? It means that I am training a network which will take these two images and give me 0 or 1. Similarly, the other network will take both of them and going to give me 0 0.2, 0 0.5, 0 0.3. Which one you feel? First one or the second one? Which one is easier for you to be trained?
First one.
First one is going to be easier to be trained.
Because you said we can use binary cross entropy.
We can use whatever the loss function you want because we want 0 and 1. That is why it's a binary cross entropy. That's not the issue. You have to understand this fact that I am having what is your name? Anvay.
Anvay. Yes, sir.
I am having Anvay. Let us talk about. I am having Anvay and I am having Toshendra. And somebody is saying that you will have to tell me that whether this or this. Just only this. You will have to tell me this or this. So it actually means that whether this belongs to 0 or 1 or so it's going to be not like this. It is going to say that whether they are same or they are different. So when I wanted to say that whether they are same and they are different, it's actually easy for me to give and come up with this value, but how accurate it is going to be? Because exactly Tanmay and Toshendra and Anvay, they are not going to be very similar. Even if I say that they are same, they are not going to be exactly same. They are close. They are close. And most of the time they are going to be not same, but they are going to be similar. Now, how to come up with this thing to capture the amount of similarity? Instead of saying same or different, we need to say that whether they are similar or not. And when I say similar, this metric can be useful. Otherwise, I can easily tell that Anvay and Toshen, they are same, they are different. By several times there is a big difference between Toshendra and Toshendra and Anvay, but I need to say that they are same because the difference between other guys is actually very high. So for me to decide binary thing is easy, but it is going to have huge amount of averaging which is going to be there. Instead of that, you wanted to come up with a comparator because it's going to be a comparator. This comparator is just going to tell you that if you give me two images, I am going to tell you that whether they are same or they are different. So they are same and they are different is going to be easy for a network to learn, but loss is going to be high and the performance is not going to be very good. Here it is going to say that I am going to have two images. You will have to say that whether they are same or different. And it may be that there is some region which is common in both, and because of that, and the other region is very different, but because of this region there is some similarity, and because of the other region there is dissimilarity, and value is actually coming out to be 0.8, maybe 0.7. So you are saying that they are dissimilar. So yes, to come up with a network like this is the thing that we usually train first. And secondly, we need to actually come up with this T when to say that they belong to class A and class B. Is this okay to everyone? Is there anyone who is having any question about it? Tanvay, Anvay, is that okay?
Yeah, sir, what do you mean by averaging? You mentioned it.
Yeah, averaging is that what happen is that suppose that this is Anvay and this is Tanmay, and I know limited about you and very limited amount of things about this guy, and still using that I am saying that they are different. And what I have done, I have not used other things, so those things actually got averaged out. They are not being in fact used as well. Network is not looking. Other things becomes completely outcasted and they are not being used while deciding that they are same or different, because I know this much about you and this much about you, and using this information I can easily say that they are different. But once I understand that there is some other things with respect to which they are same, and there are in fact they are big things which are by you seeing them they are same. So network actually can converge very fast over this, and it can converge, and later or it may sometimes what happen that it's not converging because it will converge to a wrong value and it's not coming out. It has to say the ground truth for this thing is same and my network is saying different because this thing and this thing is common, and network actually got overfitted over that and it's not moving out of that. So in this way, what will happen that to train such a network, it's easier network, but the type of performance that you are going to get is not going to be very good. Because if I show you two images and just say, you just have to tell me whether they are same or different, then you will see that, oh, there are one or two things where they are different, but still I am going to say they are same. And the reason is that, other images are very, very different. So in this way, suppose that I am having a line like this and you are having a line like this, probably you may say that they are same. When you are training, it is a binary cross entropy. But when you are training it like this, it will say the value is 0.231. So they are same, but not exactly. If they are same, then value should have to be 0. They are similar. Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
So this is actually a general point that one should have to understand, that is why we do not want it to, in the case of CMEs, we do not want to come up with a network like this, like this type of network. We actually want a network which is going to give us a single value. Now, how to train such a network that we are having multiple patches going inside the network? You are going to get this and you are going to get this loss. Assume that's also very easy. The problem formulation is going to be that I'm having an image like this. I'm having a slightly varied version of that image. Both are going inside my network. This is my shared network. This shared network is actually projecting my image into another subspace. You can say that in a space of so if this X is going to be a d-dimensional vector, then it's projecting this whole image into a d-dimensional subspace. In that subspace, this image is actually a single point. Is this clear to everyone? Network is taking this image and taking it into a subspace. I'm sorry, if suppose that this thing is d-dimensional. If this thing is d-dimensional, then this network, whatever GW that we have, it takes any image and take it to a subspace of RD. In that subspace, this image is actually a single point. Then this image is also a single point. So in that space, just you see that I am having 2 points. You wanted to minimize this distance. So you wanted to learn a subspace in such a way so that what are those d values, so that in that subspace, this distance is as less as possible, given similar images. So what is this? But what is the problem here? We all understand that the problem now is that that's only one-sided loss. Loss has to be every time being bounded, and it has to be two-sided loss, that you will have to get things close and you will have to take things far. So it will understand, if you only train via this loss, only training via this loss, then it will understand that every time they are going to show me the similar images and I need to give some low value, and you are expecting that the low value should have to be 0, but it becomes smart and it will Hello.
Yes, sir.
So you can listen, right? But what happened? Yes, wait, I have to leave actually, first of all. How can I leave? I have to leave from here. You all can listen?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
now okay, fine. So let me share the screen. Can you tell me at what point I was my network got freezed? Anyone can tell?
Sir, standard Siemens CNN.
Standard CMA, CNN, standard, yeah, here, right?
No above.
Looper above.
Yeah,
Loss function.
Yes, sir. No.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Before
sir. Yeah.
loss function.
here.
Yes, sir.
Sir, before this.
Before, wait,
Yes, sir. You haven't written anything at that time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
here. So what was the problem? The problem with this loss function was that it's actually a one-sided. What happened if I'm showing you the similar images? So network will easily understand that every time he is going to show me the similar images, and I need to make this DW0 or basically these two things the same. So instead of learning something from the image, why cannot I started to play a cooperative game and understand that instead of learning that they are going to be same, I learn a fixed representation. So whatever image you are going to show me, I am going to give you a fixed representation and DW will be equal to 0. So because of this, we need to train in such a way so that if I show you similar images, you will have to make it 0. If I make you a dissimilar images, you will have to make it 1. So in this way, you cannot learn that thing. And then your one single batch is going to be made like this. One batch of a network is going to be pair number 1, pair number 2, pair number 3, pair number 4, pair number 5, image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4, 5, image 6, image 7, image 8, image 9, and image 10. And if they are same, then it is 0. If they are different, it is 1. If they are same, if they are different, then it is 1 or 0 or 0. You understand this is going to be the batch. Network is going to see this stuff and have to tell what has to be their actual label, or you can say that it can also do a regression to make it that if it is, then instead of 0, I'm going to give you 0.9 or something, 0.09 or 0.01 or so. Is this okay to everyone? Again, I'm freezed.
No, sir. Can hear you.
Yes,
You
sir.
can hear. Any question if you have till now, if you have any question. This was anyways the previous semester, previous lecture. Okay, so now what we do is that we need to figure out that what is the best way to capture the similarity between a positive pair and a dissimilarity between a negative pair. So the positive pair similarity is going to be a Euclidean distance. So it will take this thing. This is my query, and this is going to be the positive thing with respect of this query. And I find out that what is the distance between them. That is the distance between the positive pairs. Is this okay to everyone? You can write in the chat, yes, this is okay. In the chat, you can write, yes, yes, okay, fine. Then what we are going to do, this is actually the negative pair things, and for the negative pair, this is the hinge loss. Now let us understand what is this hinge loss. Is there anyone who wanted to talk about this hinge loss? Or you just look at to this, that I am having one value as xn, one, this is the one pair, this is the second pair. Sorry, this is one pair. Out of this, this is one sample, this is another sample, and they both are actually coming from two different classes. If they are coming from the different classes, my loss is going to be a hinge loss, which is actually like this. Let you just see, and I'm going to ask that what does it mean? Who can say? Pradeep, Logendra, Rishikesh, Himani, Divyansh, रिचर्ड ठाकुर, आप बताइए.
Yes, sir.
Question is that can you see this hinge loss?
Yes, sir.
What is the meaning of this hinge loss? If you see what you feel, that what does it mean? There is m square. This is something norm. This is the Euclidean distance. M square minus the Euclidean distance and 0, and this value we are taking the max of that. Instead of the positive pairs in which we are using the Euclidean laws, here we are using the hinge loss. This is actually a hinge loss. Can you understand the meaning of this? Just explain what it can be.
Sir, M here is mean. M is, sir, small
M is actually a margin, some value.
Sir, then it is showing the deviation
Deviation from
M, sir.
It is actually deviation, that how much you are different or far, how much your distance, the distance between this pair, how far it is from the margin. Yes, Richard Thakur, this is okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you have a margin. This is margin. This is actually a standard distance. What is it? This is actually social distancing. This is actually social distancing. If Richard Thakur and Divyansh, they are going anywhere, this is Richard Thakur and this is Divyansh. If they are close, I am going to give a penalty. If they are far, that is okay, because this is social distancing. But if if they are very far from each other, there is no penalty, because you both are not going anywhere. Both of you are actually sitting in your home. If you are going, which essentially mean that I want my xn and xq to be far. If they are very far, that's okay. You are not going to get any loss. If they are very near, you are going to get the loss. How much amount of loss? How far, how close you are, and what was the m? M is the distance which is actually that you will have to maintain. Right now it is, say, in social distancing, you will have to manage, suppose that 1 meter distance. So here also, if your value m is actually 1 meter, then if these 2 points are within that, you are going to get lost. If these 2 points are far from that, then you are getting no loss. And if these 2 points are under this, they are going to get loss. But how much amount of loss? How much you are close. So this is, you can see over here, that if they are very close, you are going to get this loss. If you are here and other one is here, so in fact it's not like this. If xq is here, anything which is inside this, you are going to get a loss. Anything, let me draw it over here, red, let me take. If this is one of my point and this is my margin, anything within this, if you have any of your friends which is within this boundary, you are going to get a loss. If you have anything which is out of this, you are not going to get a loss. And if you are here and this is the guy, I want to find out the loss, then this is not the loss, but this is the loss, that how far you are from the, how much you have to be distant in order to achieve this m distance between you and the neighboring sample point. Is this clear? That is why it is called hinge. We are making a hinge between you and the other. This is the, If you wanted to somehow come up with a social distancing, this has to be the laws. Indian government, if can apply this, then next time you will see that corona cannot be, spread like this. Because as soon as two guys come close, we will see that how close you are and whether you are within the limit. If you are not within the limit, I am going to charge 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 500 rupees. What does it mean? This means that if you are here, then a small amount of loss. If you are here, probably more loss. Here, if you are here, then even more loss. And if you are very close, then you are going to have to pay. So here you will have to pay 100 rupees, 500 rupees, 10,000 rupees. So now you will see that if you want to come up with a loss which is going to say that two things cannot be close to each other, this is the way it has to be represented. Instead of hinge loss, you can write it as the social distancing loss as well for you to understand. Do you want to ask any question?
Sir,
Yes.
how will we define the margin?
That we will talk about, but initially margin is going to be equal to very less, 0.1. So margin, actually everything is going to be dependent upon margin. Your loss is going to be dependent upon margin. Maybe at some point you will understand, but margin initially we will start with a very small value. If I say that the margin should have to be 5 kilometers in whole India, you will find that one guy is here and the other person has to be at 5 kilometers. Otherwise you are going to get a loss. Then every person is going to have a loss, and it's actually a very huge or a very big margin. Nobody can satisfy. On the other hand, if I say that you and other guy, the distance has to be in between 10 meters, then probably you may have with certain pairs are going to have or they can follow that much amount of margin. But 10 meters corona will spread. Then 1 meter, then you will say that, okay, can I have m equal to 0.1 meter? Now it is not possible with very small margin and very large margins. So very small margin, very large margin. So if I say that the margin is very, very small, it's essentially mean that nothing is happening, no social distancing. If margin is very, very high, it is very difficult to achieve. So margin should have to start initially with some nominal value and keep on gradually increasing. That is why it's being called as adaptive margin. We will talk about this adaptive margin. But margin need to be initially fixed. Any other question you can ask?
Sir, it means in another word we can say that margin is the maximum tolerance of loss.
Margin and loss, you can see that margin and loss, they are not directly related, but they are indirectly related. If your margin is high, your loss is also
Right.
high. Because you will have to maintain a very big distance between positive and negative. So several times it is difficult. Now you see, for you, I have shown that this is a image and this is another image, and you will have to find out a embedding. The network has to find out an embedding which will come up with a distance which is more than margin. If it is more than margin, then no loss is going to be contributed for this negative pair. So it has to actually, for the negative pair, it has to make them as far as possible. And for the positive pairs, it has to make it as close as possible.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So once we understand that this is my positive loss and that is my negative hinge loss, so I added both of these losses in such a way so that if it is positive, then this loss is activated. If it is negative, then this loss is activated. Why? Because y is going to be equal to 0 for the same and y is equal to be 1 for the different. Clear? Is this okay to everyone? This is actually contrastive loss. In the case of contrastive loss, Euclidean distance and hinge loss, both of them are going to be used. Hinge loss is just only going to say very simple thing to you, that it is just only saying that if they are coming from two different things, then the distance between them should have to be more than m square, then there is no loss. If it is m, which means that if you are over here, then some amount of loss, or basically maybe zero loss. But if it is less than this, I am going to penalize, because this is the social distancing norm. If I am having a person over here, you cannot have any person within this range. What is that range? That is my m, that is the margin. So if distance between xn and xp is less than the margin, how less it is with respect to this m, that is going to be the loss. Now can you tell me that what is, or what can be a different problems, can be different problems using such a type of loss?
Sir, I think if the 2 points are at a very large distance, then we still consider the loss as zero. If we consider the
Yes, so they are at very far, they are very far, and my loss is zero. Why? Because they has to be very far, na? Because they are negative things. So they has to be very far. That is why my loss, government is not penalizing, because they are very far. So this is anyways okay. That is what you have implemented. If they are coming from different classes, they has to be as far as possible so as to get the minimum loss or the zero loss. So network has to learn such embeddings such that if they are coming from different classes, they need to be as far as possible so that my loss becomes very small. So that is the contrastive loss for hinge loss. And Euclidean distance used to say that if they are close, if they are coming from the same class, then the Euclidean distance between them should have to be minimized. But what is the problem here? By the way, several times what we have seen is that such type of networks being trained over contrastive losses, they do not converge properly. They are not properly converging. So let us talk that why is that happening? Anyone want to say anything? No, I have to ask. Chat. Somebody has written only yes, sir. Okay. Divyanshu, you tell me. Yeah, somebody want to say anything? Ashima, Divyanshu, you tell. Divyanshu, can you hear? No. Ananya Shukla, nahi. Kya ho raha hai? Anushka is coming.
Hello.
Divyanshu, tell me.
Yes, actually, can you repeat the question?
Repeat the question. Question क्या था मैं तो भूल गया. Question क्या था? रुको. हाँ, what is the problem? Why such a network? Why such contrastive networks probably are not properly being trained several times or not converging? Can you give any intuition behind that?
Sir, no, I am not able to think at this
No. Okay. Anyone who want to say? Is there anyone who want to say?
Sir,
Yes.
ऐसा सिनेरियो हो सकता है कि because there are two losses, so if one loss is big, so network उसकी तरफ टेंड कर जाए और कन्वर्ज करने की कोशिश करे और लोकल मिनिमा मिल जाए उसे, एब्सोल्यूट ट्रेनिंग ना हो पाए. और मेनू ना मिल पाए उसे? Is there a possibility?
इस तरह की एक पॉसिबिलिटी में हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि हम तो उसके लिए एक काम पहले तो ये करना पड़ेगा that we will have to somehow, this is one batch, within batch I am having pair number 1. Please see it again to understand how this CMEs type of networks are being trained. I am having a batch. This is my batch number 1. I am having pair 1, pair 2, pair 3, pair 4 and pair 5. This is my data set. In that data set, I am having class 1, class 2, class 3 and class 4. C1, C2, C3 and C4. So I choose one image from here, place it over here, class 1, and I can take any image. Let us draw it in this way. This is I1 is actually first class image, then I1, I2, I1, I3, I4, I4, I2, I2, I2. Then this is 0, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, and this is 0. These are the ground truth values. Network is going to see these two things, these two things, these two things, these two things, and these two things. And for all of them, basically positive pairs are this. This is my one positive, this is my second positive. I add, both of them are going to be here. And for all of them negative, they are coming here, here, and here. So they are being added. So these 5 things, 2 are being used for EL and 3 are going to be used for HL. And then you add. So we somehow try to manage it in such a way so that roughly 50% are positive and 50% are negative, so as to manage that sort of bias, that it should not completely tend towards one type of loss, but still it may somehow try to move in that direction sometimes. So Anurag, yes, that is also possible in certain cases, but that's not the only reason behind this. But yes, it is possible. Any other thing anyone want to say? Anushka, you want to say anything?
The thing is that the thing I was wondering was sometimes the images are semantically similar,
Yeah.
but they can be very different on the pixel space. So do this network take care of such things?
It has to take care of such things. The way you are generating your pairs. If you show it your network very simple pair, it will probably learn those things very well. If you show them very different pair, probably it may not be able to converge. So it completely depends upon the way in which you are training. By the way, let me tell you that CME's network can also be seen as a way of training a network. CME is a style in which you can train your network. We are training the same type of encoder, but we are training it in a very different way. So if you train and get these best possible pairs in which that much amount of dissimilarity in the pairs you are showing to your network, then probably it will understand. But still, that is not the answer behind this. Let me show it in another way. That when you have got a value between them, you say that your network has to learn an embedding for this as well as an embedding for this. Please mute your mic. Your network has to learn an embedding. When you show this pair, network has to learn an embedding for this as well as for this, and this embedding has to be close. Okay, and this embedding has to be far. Okay, can you tell me that once you are seeing this image, you train your network? When you are seeing this, do you have any idea what was being shown previously to my network? Is it possible?
Sure, if we somehow use LSTM kind of a structure.
But we are not using now. We are not using. Here it is a CNN.
Sir, if we are storing the losses and somehow updating the filters, it is a
Yes.
way of keeping the histories.
Yes. So who was saying, Anushka?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So yes. So what you have said is that this is going to be in this way, that yes, we have to add all of them, and in totality, in average, it has to go high or low. This has to go low and this has to go high. Now, let us see one pair. In this pair, it has to take it to 0. It is not easy for this network to take things equal to 0. Why? Somebody has said at some point of time that I am showing you a cat and a dog, and both of them are very similar. And if it is very similar, it is very difficult for you to say a cat and a dog and make it a 1. It is very, very difficult. Probably it may be fine if you can make it 0.5. Probably it may be fine if you make it 0.7. Probably it may be fine if you make it 0.75. But more than that, your network is not able to make, because both of them are inherently very, very similar. Coming from different classes, but huge amount of background is there, and cat and dog, both of these images are looking very similar. So network is, to training this network, if you are training those pairs using this type of network, it can say that for this pair I have to make 1. It will work very hard to make it 1, and try to get itself converged. At end, it's not able to get that thing down or make it as less as possible. And the actual reason is that it is saying that make it high. It is saying make it low. But with respect to what? There is only absolute values. It has to make it 0. It has to make it 1. Instead of that, some guy will come and say that make it low. May not be 0. If you make it 0, I am going to give you penalty. If it is 0, then only I am not going to make you penalty. I am saying that no. If this thing is 0, no penalty. If it is 0.2, again I am saying no penalty, because it's again a very small value. And similarly here, if you are saying that it is 1, I am saying that no penalty. Very good. But if they are very similar and you are saying 0.9, even I am saying no penalty. So with respect of something is actually missing, because here you only see within one sample which is being shown to my network, one instance which is being shown in my network, you can only see what? You have to make it 0 or you will have to make it 1. And that is a hard loss again. Instead of that, can I make it in such a way so that even though they are same, value can be slightly 0.2, even 0.3 it can be. I will allow you to give you 0.3. And if it is coming from the negative class, the value can be 1, it can be 0.9, or it can be even 0.7. I am allowing you. But how? Let us see. And that is actually the triplet loss. In the case of triplet loss, what is happening is that I am having an anchor pair, which is saying that, suppose that I am having subject 1, subject 2, and subject 3. Let us take few names so that we all can relate. Ajay, Ashima, and Akash. Ajay, Ashima, and Akash. Ajay, Ashima, and Akash. So I am having 3 subjects, and all of them I am having 10 images. 10 images for her, 10 images for him, 10 images for him, and 10 images for him. I take first image of Ajay. So this is going to be Ajay's first image. And along with that, I am taking Ajay's second image. Now this is my anchor. This is my positive. And if I take Ashima first image, this is my negative. This is my anchor positive. Anchor, that is my anchor positive, and this is my anchor negative. And this is my one such pair. I can make so many such pairs. Now, if I wanted to make another pair, let us take someone. Let us take Ajay. Ajay, can you listen?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Make another triplet for me. That is why it is called triplet, because there are three things. That is why it is called triplet. Can you make another triplet for me?
Yeah, sure, sir. So
Yes.
we can have another triplet with Akash as anchor. So
Akash first image as anchor.
Akash second image as the reference.
Yes, positive. That is positive. This is anchor. This is positive,
and then Ajay's image as negative.
Ajay's any image, maybe first or third or whatever.
Any
right?
image, yeah.
Any image. Negative. Thank you. This is perfectly correct. So in this way, what you can see that even you are having very small number of images. How many images? Only 30 such images. And if I say that how many triplets that you can make huge amount of triplets out of that. But why we have make such triplets? First of all, we take these triplets. So we will take anchor positive, negative, show it to my network and find out the embedding. So this is my embedding for my anchor, embedding of my positive, embedding of my negative. Then I find out the distance between anchor and positive, anchor and negative. What do you feel? You can understand that the distance between anchor and negative is always or have to be anchor and negative. The distance has to be more than anchor and positive. Now this is the point where triplet loss is going to allow you the generalizability, the flexibility that you are looking for. I have said that even if it is a positive pair, you can give me 0.2. Okay. But then the negative value should have to be more than 0.8. It should not be that for positive you are giving 0.2 and for negative you are giving 0.3. No, I am not going to accept it. I am saying that if your positive is 0.5 or 0.2, so that's why it's actually being written over here that negative should not be just more than the positive. It has to be more than as well as with a particular margin. So here your margin is going to be this alpha. It is saying that the distance between the positive and the negative should have to be more than or equal to alpha. A positive pair and a negative pair, they cannot come close. This is again a social distancing, again the same type of loss. If you have to maintain a social distancing between whom? Social distancing between this and this by a margin of this, then you just have to write that max type of function, max of 0, this thing. Before that, what you want? You want is that this thing may not be equal to 0. This thing may not be equal to 1. But their distance should have to be such a way so that DAN should have to be high, more than this, but not only this, but more plus alpha. The distance between them is, by a margin of alpha. There has to be a margin. This network is trying to come up with an embedding that will take my images into such a subspace where the distance between positive and the negative pair is maximized, distance between the positive and the negative pair is maximized, and there has to be at least a margin between them as alpha. If it is not, then I am going to penalize. Suppose that this is my DAN and suppose that this is my DAP, then if this value what you are going to get is less than alpha, I am going to penalize. If it is more than this, no penalty. You can ask any question now. Do you understand the difference between contrastive and the triplet loss? Contrastive loss was only saying that AP type of thing should have to be going to 0 an type of thing should have to be going to 1. Here it is saying that no, should not be going to 0 or 1 because it is difficult to maintain several times. It is saying that in hard cases, it may be a very hard example in which A and P, they are actually coming from the same class, or maybe Ajay's. So here, this and this, both of them are not very similar, although they are coming, or they are actually belonging to same guy. But in this image, Ajay was looking in this direction, and in this image, Ajay was looking in this direction. Lighting variation was also being there. And because of there, it was very difficult to somehow, make them very far. Make them very close. On the other way, sometimes it may happen that this and this becomes very similar, because in this whole world, in some pose, these two guys looks very similar. It may not happen because right now one is, suppose that only half a face is being visible, and because of that, certain cases you may not be able to really distinguish between them, and this may even look similar to this guy as well. If that is happening, then you come up with a slightly flexible rule in which you say that I will allow these values to be becoming 0 or even more than 0, but adjust your negatives also in such a way so that the distance between negative and positive, there is a margin between them. There has to be a margin maintained between them, and that margin is going to be alpha. If this is okay, then this is my final loss. Very simple. This is my final loss. What it is? This and this. There's a social distancing loss, you can say. Social distancing loss. What you want to make? I wanted to make that the distance between this guy and this guy should have to be as much, at least this much. The distance between this and this should have to be at least this much. How you can manage this? You can write it in the form of this thing. That is my triplet loss. I here is actually my triplet. I equal to 1 to m. I am having again m such pairs, and these pairs are going to be triplets now. I am having anchor, I am having positive, I am having negative. I equal to 1, 2, and so on up to m. First I take this, show it to my network, find out the loss, add it over here. Then I take this, show it to my network. I keep on adding and find out my final j, and that j is going to back propagate as a loss. Is this okay and clear to everyone, or you can ask any question? Ananya, you want to ask any question?
No, sir.
No, sir. Lokendra, you want to ask any question?
No, sir.
No. Manpreet?
No, sir.
No. Good. Maybe let me see how much I have. In fact, yes. So let us go and talk about 2 more things, and then probably we will finish. Now it comes that we understand that we are having these triplets, and there are going to be huge amount of possible triplets. How can I choose a triplet? Because we have to choose. So first thing is that there are going to be huge number of negative samples as compared to the positive samples. You all can see that I am having person number A, person number B, and person number C. And if I have 10 images and 10 images and 10 images, if I take I1 over here, then how many, using only this guy's 10 images, how many negative pairs I can make? 10. How many negative pairs I can make with them? 10. So you have got 20 negative pairs with respect to only one image. How many positive pairs you can make? Only 9. So you can see that if I increase these subjects, this number is drastically going to be increased. So most of the time you are going to have huge amount of negative samples, but there are going to be very less amount of positive samples. Hence you need to choose your triplet in the best possible way. Because suppose that you have got 1 million negative samples, negative pairs, and only 1000 positive. How can you train? Because it's going to be, for every positive, you can take so many things, but how to choose the best possible way to come up with the best possible triplet sets. So one way is that you can easily do that. You take this one, because there is 1000, you take one positive, and out of this 1 million you choose randomly certain 1000 or 5000 or 200 or whatever the number of pairs that you wanted to make. So you can choose randomly, but try to understand that if you use your random negative sampling, random triplet making, then most of the triplets are going to be very easy triplets. What does it mean that a easy triplet? Easy triplets are that this image is anchor, this image is positive, and this image is negative. If I randomly choose, then it's going to happen that they are going to be very same and they are going to be very different. And network can easily learn this because 90% your triplets, or maybe 95% triplets, are going to be very, very simple triplets. So in order to choose such a triplets for which my loss is going to be high, that is the strategy that one should have to be using. And instead of randomly sampling this negative, we need to actually somehow try a hard negative mining. What is this hard negative mining? Hard negative mining is, hey, before that, do you understand this stuff, or you have any question? Because most of the triplets are going to be very easy, and to learn a metric, it's going to be very easy in most of the scenarios. But the point is that there are very few samples which are going to create problem. So there are going to be, say, 1 million possible triplets. Out of that, maybe 10,000 triplets are difficult and hard, and over that, if we train our network properly, it will anyways, because two cat images are very similar most of the time. Hardly, you are going to get very few images in which a cat seems very similar to a dog, and that is actually a hard negative. You want to get a negative which is really hard, which essentially mean that this guy is looking very similar to this guy. What is that negative sample? If you can get that negative sample and get the loss for that and get your network back propagated using that loss, that is going to create the best possible output for you. That is why we usually take the semi-hard negative mining, which is again a very, very simple thing. You just choose first of all 10,000 or 1,000 triplets randomly. Take this 1,000 triplets, show it to your network, find out the positive, find out the negative values, and see that what are those triplets which are close. What are those triplets in which this guy and this guy, they are close to each other, closer than alpha. If they are closer than alpha, then I am going to use only losses for those negatives. So I took this 1,000. Out of that, I find out only 20 such pairs are there in which my alpha is not properly met. I compute the loss for them, and then only back propagate using those 20 pair losses. I am using although 1,000 triplets. Out of that, only 20 or 30 or 50 triplets didn't follow the my hard mining, so didn't follow my alpha margin. I computed the loss only for them, accumulated, and get my network back propagated. I discard my loss for the remaining one because they are very simple. And I do not want to solve simple questions. I do not want it to give simple examples to my network. This is semi-hard negative mining. Let us take any questions. If you are, otherwise we are done. Please ask any question. No question, or again I'm freezed? Participants. Yes.
So in choosing triplets, as you said, the number of negative samples are very large as compared to the positive samples.
Is
Yes.
it a general statement?
It's a general statement, na? Because as I have said that for every class, you are going to get a limited amount of images. For any class, you are going to get a limited amount of images. And you are going to have multiple such classes. So if you take one image here, then whatever the remaining images of these classes, they can be used as positive. But what are negative? You take this image and choose any image from here, any image from here, any image from here, any image from here, any image from there.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Secondly, CMEs is actually going to take you. I will talk about this maybe in the next class, some few more things, but any other question first of all? This is actually going to open a new area in which huge amount of work is done, that is called as few shot learning or one shot learning or zero shot learning. What does it mean? This means that few shot learning, one shot learning, zero shot learning means that what will happen if I have very less images of a class. Several times it's going to happen that I'm having C1, C2 and C3. You need to train for them as a classification, but I'm having only 10 images. You cannot apply deep learning over there. Can I learn a matrix? This is actually called as a few shot learning. One shot learning says that I'm having only one image of a class. Can you come up with the classification? For few classes, I'm having one images, and zero shot is saying that for few classes, I do not have any image at all. Can you learn a open class classification? Open class classification. Open class classification mean that for few classes, even I have not seen at all. What is going to happen for my unseen classes? For my unseen classes. So I'm showing you few classes right now, and you understand. Once you understand, now I am going to show you. So initially I show you cat and dog images. Training over that, can you generalize over car and bus images? And if it is possible, that is actually called as zero shot learning, one shot learning and few shot learning. And CM is because it makes triplets, it makes pairs. You are going to get huge amount of pairs, even if they're in a particular class, you are having very less amount of images. So if you learn CMEs, then you can do few shot learning, one shot learning and zero shot learning as well. So I'm done with this. If you have any question, you can ask.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in this online semi-hard negative mining.
Yes.
So, like before training, we do this, right?
Before training, I mean, yes. While making the batch, yes.
Okay.
Let me show it. Yeah. Let me show it that this is my. Okay. This is my network. I have got my data. I have a triplet maker. Triplet maker will go in, make a triplet, 10,000 triplets, or maybe 1,000 triplet, only 1,000 triplet, forward pass. Once you have done the forward pass, after forward pass, you find out the hard negatives. You have got this out of 10,000, only 50. You aggregate their loss and backpropagate. Clear?
Okay.
Yes. Any other question?
So in
Yes.
this part D of distance between anchor and negative and subtracted by distance between anchor and positive, shouldn't it be greater than alpha for hard triplets?
No. You have to be, so it's being written that you just check it out. I mean, that's the point. Don't confuse it over here. You just check it out what I'm writing over here. Exactly same thing is happening, that if DAN and DAP, there is the distance between them, and it has to be, so this has to be high, this has to be low, and the distance between them should have to be less than alpha. Then only that's a hard triplet, because it has not followed the social distancing. Is this okay? A hard triplet
So
is that
hard
triplet.
means which doesn't follow the rule.
Of course, that is confusing. See, if I find out your distance with some Chinese guy, it is very high. If I take your distance with your sister, it is very less. So your sister is actually, with respect to you, a hard sample. Understood? Only point that one should have to understand is that DAN should have to be high, yes, and it has to be more than AP, yes, and the distance between them should have to be more than alpha, then that is simple. If it is less than alpha, that is the thing that you are looking for, because that is the hard triplet whose loss is going to be useful and going to matter for you. You are looking for those triplets in which very similar type of things are actually being shown as AN, and very different type of things are being shown as AP. So that is the thing that's going to create a hard triplet for you, whose loss is going to be back propagated. If you are Indian and I take a Indian and a Chinese pair, it is definitely going to be a pair from India and a pair from China. They are definitely going to be very far. Look, so that's not a hard pair for me. Is this okay? You have any other question? It's slightly confusing. Please read about it again. Anyone want to ask anything else? No. Done. Thank you. Then we are done.